What's up, everybody? Nick James and
Big Body Biggz, the Can of Pimp. What's up?
And you are here for another episode of Biggz, Bros, and Superheroes. And this one is going to start off pretty weird, all right? If you hear a lot of growling, if you hear a lot of viciousness, it's two pit bulls. No, we're not fighting dogs. We just got them new toys, and I can't pry it away from them, guys. We also have to record. It's a tiny house. That is what it is. Welcome, though. It's not going to happen all the time. We're not turning into werewolves and nothing crazy like that. Unless you check out our new poster, which, by the way, if you listened to our last episode, I didn't make it, sir. You asked whether or not I was going to post the picture before I posted the episode. Yeah, the picture got posted about 10 seconds after.
I knew it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have no patience. I just don't. You know, I wanted them to see it. I knew Dropper wanted us to post it. He was going to post it on his, and I was like, I don't want them. I don't know. I just had to get it out there.
Did he represent?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's put it on everything. And everything I tag him in, he re-puts it on. And
shout out to you, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, great job again. If you're watching us on YouTube, I'll put the picture up again. I've been kind of messing with the format of the YouTube, so we have three different screenshots as you're watching the three different sections. So normally what it would be is just our logo for the intro, and then there's a different one for the Biggz, Bros, and Superheroes, and it ends with our logo again. But last time it ended with the photo, and now this time it will begin with the photo. But eventually we'll be on a new thing, but I'm already off on a tangent. Just listen to me. You put a microphone in front of me, and boom, I just start talking. It's crazy. Guess what episode this is?
Episode number 12.
Dude, we're at a dozen.
At a dozen.
That's some cool shit, bro.
It is. And I usually wait until to the bros part to give a special shout out and a, dedication. So I'm going to dedicate this one to my son, Baraka II. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday.
Awesome. Happy birthday to you. So is that a birthday shout out at the day of recording or the day that it's going to drop?
Today, the day of the recording.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Just curious. Because that day keeps changing, too. It's becoming a lot of fun. And the listeners probably know, too. Because when I said Fridays, I mean anywhere from 12 a.m. the second it turns Friday until like 11:59 where it's almost not to be Friday anymore. Been really loose at the hip with that. So with that, I would like to also give a shout out. Can I?
Yeah.
Is it okay? To
Absolutely.
all the other podcasters out there, the ones putting it together. It's a lot of fun, but it also is a lot of work. So I know what you're putting into it as well. So shout out to you.
That's true, because a lot of people only see what they hear or watch on TV. Like, they don't know about all the editing that goes into movies and videos, rap videos, all kind of commercials on TV. Making a video for whatever, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, Instagram, whatever.
Two of my favorite comedians, Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, they do a podcast, Two Bears, One Cave. And a little bit ago, a few years, they had a video feud where Bert dropped a video of him doing a dance number to promote himself. And Tom took it a further step and dropped, I think he said, I heard a number, I'm not sure if it's positive, but somewhere like 60 to 80K. To make a response video where he's dressed up like Steven Seagal because he hates Steven Seagal because who doesn't? He's a really it's this whole history. But anyway, it took him months to learn the choreography for that. You know what I mean? All for a video just to go, aha, my friend's stupid. So I love that dedication.
Right.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. Sorry to round robin us so fucking early.
It's all cool.
But
it's all good.
Anyway, if it's your first time here, hi, welcome, Nick James.
And Big Body Biggz, the Can of Pimp.
We already said that, but let's, we rambled already. And by we, I mean I. Sorry, buddy. This is Biggz, Bros, and Superheroes, where you are going to get... This is Biggz, Bros, and Superheroes, where you are going to get Biggz, Bros, and Superheroes. Right? Great name. So we're going to talk about some marijuana. We're going to talk about us being friends and different things going on. Us being friends and different things going on in our lives. And then finally, some superheroes. We watched Hellboy 2. Because last week, we watched Hellboy. Go check that out. Without any further ado, because 4 minutes in. Sorry, Jack. Jesus.
It's all good, man.
Let's get into some buds where you're going to take over. You're going to be doing some talking for sure. So everybody was like, Jesus, Nick, shut up. It's about to be your time. Let me just start, though. And you're like, Jesus, Nick, you just said you were going to shut up. Let me just start by setting the stage and asking, on your YouTube channel, which they can find at
YouTube, Big Body Biggz, the Can of Pimp.
Recently, you got some footage, and I know because I'm your editor, from somebody growing in a legal state. It's their first time. They didn't really know what to do. They hit you up for some knowledge. We made a video out of it, and I wanted to see where that went from there. You know, how's her grow going? What's going on?
Yeah, so, you know, at first we started like talking on the phone, and then she FaceTimed me a couple times from in her little tent before nice little plants going. And right now, as you've seen in the video on YouTube, that was like seedling going into veg. She's in the veg stage right now, and she just topped her plants. Topping is when you get those first leaves coming out. You get your first 2 fan leaves, then you get 3 leaves coming out, then you get 5s, then you get 7s. Usually right around 7 you can start topping, which is taking off the next piece of growth. The very next piece popping up in the middle, you snap off. That turns into 2 instead of that 1. Then you get 2 growing up right next to each other, and you can top those, and they turn into 4. 4 turns into 8, and however many more you want it. You know, it depends on how bushier you want it or how tall you want it. And everybody grows different. There's a million different ways to grow, so there's no real right way, you know?
So 2 things that I just learned, maybe one that I relearned, is weed grows in odd numbers. 3 fans, then 5, 7, 11 is what you said?
7, 9, then
7,
11.
Oh, I forgot one. Yeah. You see what
Maybe a little more at times, you know?
That's crazy. That's cool. And then 2, when you top, so you were saying it'll go 3, 5, 7, and then you can top, and then 2 more will happen. Will they start back at 3, or will they go from there?
No, when you top that one will have 2 shoots.
What will their fans be? Will it start back at 3, or will it be where you topped it? Will it automatically start at 7 and go from there?
I think right around 1 on each. Like it starts as 1, and then it does the same thing over and over and over.
But it starts back over. It doesn't just like, oh, we were at 7, you topped us at 7, and now we're 7.
Right.
It's like, no, you topped us. Now we got to start at 1. But now there's 2 where there was 1. So it's kind of like a hydra where you cut off 1 head and 2 more come up.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Minute. That's fucking metal. Sorry.
And you'll see a very little leaf starting to pop up out of the little edges where you topped on both sides. You'll see them, you know, real little. You know, you might even need a little magnifying glass or something like that. But it's cool to watch the growth. You could see it coming in 2 days. You should be like, wow, damn, that wasn't nothing 2 days ago, you know?
Again, Governor Wolf, let's get that going here. I haven't heard much talk about that since the election and what's been going on.
He keeps bringing it up, but who knows with Corona, man, you know?
You would think that they just want everything, you know? Because there is no solid, like, that would definitely have to bring business here. Because if I was me and I wanted to start growing, like, where do you even buy this shit? Is there a store? Like, we'd have to go, like, you'd have to imagine that a store would be built with all this stuff. So, like, not only the selling of that, but it'd have to create so many jobs.
Have to. All over, like, all down the line, like, throughout the whole industry, you know?
Yeah, from top to bottom, it would have to start in this state. And from there, it would just explode.
Right.
Crazy. So she did good with the topping, and then what happens?
She's just letting them go. You know, she did her first little bit of topping, so she's going to let them go and let them start to, until she sees those ones with like 7, 5, 7, then she could decide if she wants to go more, if she wants to leave them. Because remember, there's 4 different genetics, and they all grow different. 2 of them are a little shorter. You got one short one that's thick and beautiful, another one that's a little taller, and then the other 2 are pretty much the same height.
Okay.
You know, but they're all different. All 4 are different genetics, so we'll see what happens, you know? We'll see how it ends up.
Yeah, and you've been keeping in regular contact with her?
Yeah, every other day, something like that, yeah.
Nice.
And she also just upped her feeding from 100 milligrams to 300 milligrams. So it was like 1 little cup per plant, and now it's 3 little 100 milligram cups per plant. So,
okay.
Yeah, and she's using Remo nutrients, and they're looking awesome. I'm actually getting some footage from her to do another video. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's nice for me because I get the sneak peek first. Because
You
I'm
are
your editor, so
Slick Nick, the editor.
that's how we met. Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to put that together. If you are listening and you're like, I don't know that, A, go over and find your YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. B, come back to this one and hit that subscribe button. Just be hitting subscribe buttons everywhere is what I'm saying. And the bell notifications.
Please.
But anyway, yeah, over at yours, I not only am I your editor, I'm your YouTube guy. So there is their own section for the video. So it's a one video playlist, but you heard it here first. It's about to be a 2 video playlist.
Yeah,
so she's gonna send you something updated. Yeah,
as she goes forward, we're gonna, maybe every week, every other week, depending. We'll,
because the first stage is just a lot of waiting around. I'm guessing, like, there's not, you're just
making sure they can get to the veg stage, to the, where you're in veg, seedling to veg. You know what I mean? And then staying in veg for a good 3 weeks, and then off to the races. The fun begins.
With the flowering.
Yes.
So it's a 3-stage life cycle for these plants.
Pretty much, yeah.
Interesting. I'm going to tangent for just a hot second. I think it's Animal Logic is a great YouTube channel. I'll get you back with that. It's this lady. She's a wonderful artist, and she's got these great videos where she stands in front of a white screen. I'm sure it's a green screen, but she makes it white, and then she plasters a photo time lapse of her drawing the animal in which she is explaining and also showing footage of. But like you get to see it fast motion in front of you.
Okay.
So she's a great artist. Anyway, they seem to have a side project where they talked about metamorphosis today. Dude, bugs are fucked up. They have stages just like this is where the tangent's coming in. They have life stages like that. They come out in their eggs and then their larvae and then they cocoon and like different things about different periods and like fucking butterflies basically. It's a great example of what they were talking about. But then I saw this other one. It was a behemoth Hercules beetle or some shit like that. It's the one. Have you ever seen A Bug's Life? Remember that Pixar one? The one that could fly?
Yeah.
It was I didn't the one with the big
I know what you're talking about.
And it goes from being like this big, and in my hand, it's probably about the size of a $50. And then it becomes like the size of a bratwurst to go into the ground and become this hulking beetle type thing. But it was fucked up. Go look that up, guys, after you're done listening here. But that was fucked up. Sorry for the tangent. 3 life stages of pot, and now we're talking about they're in their middle one. They have past seedling.
Right. There's germination, seedling, veg, flower, harvesting, and curing.
So this lady's got a lot of work in front of her is what it sounds like.
There's more stages. There's, more than just veg or seedling veg and flower. You have to harvest it right, and then you have to cure it right, or you're just smoking hay. It'll just turn out like some shit you grew out back and some shit that just some hay shit. Like if you're out there growing, man, do the right steps. Don't waste your time, electricity, money, and the risk. If you're in a non-legal state or a legal, regardless, don't waste your time.
I thought you were about to say do the right thing, and I was going to be like, I just asked you about that movie. It's so weird that you said do the right thing.
I almost did.
That's so funny. Shout out Spike Lee. Love you. That's a great fucking flick. Yeah, do what you're supposed to, because what are you talking about? I'm sorry. Again, it'll taste like hay if you don't listen to those dogs go. I'm so sorry, folks. There's only so much you can do.
You should be drying your plants somewhere in the mid-60s degrees for 10 at the most 14 days. You should hear that snap in the stem. You want to hear a snap in the stem, but not just snap right off like it's dried out. You want it to snap
like asparagus.
Almost like asparagus.
At the bottom, have you ever prepared asparagus?
I hate asparagus.
Really? I used to as a kid. I fucking like that shit now. But the best way to do that is like not to cut them uniformly because they all have different breaking points. All you do is just hold the top, like the middle and the bottom. And like you're saying, it's not so easy that it just snaps like, oh, God, what's wrong with this? But it does have a point where you're like, and it comes right immediately.
So, yeah, so in the drying stage, you want it to be in 65, 68 degrees. And you want the humidity low, like in the low 40s, mid 40s. That's where I like it, but there's a million ways to do it. And then, from those 10 to 14 days, when you get that nice snap and the buds are nice and feeling right and tight, you want to put it in jars. A lot of people like to burp the jars, which means open the jars up every day, a couple times a day to let fresh air in the jars so they're not turning into mold buds. So what I would do is just cure it, let it sit in those jars for a week. Maybe let's say every Saturday, come and crack the jars for an hour, close it back up, and what that does is it lets it just cure so much better, and the taste is remarkable, and you'll be so much happier. Just give it at least 2.5, 3 weeks to cure, and then you'll have some phenomenal bud if it's a phenomenal strain. You won't be wasting your time. It won't taste like hay. It'll have the right taste it's supposed to have.
It's like we were saying in other episodes, the thing that makes me think of the most is that delicious fucking kosher tangy.
Yeah.
Like, if you rush it and you give up that flavor because you didn't want to wait 3 weeks, like, fuck you.
Yeah, don't do it. Especially to, like, growers that are brand new. The big mistakes, and I did the same thing, the biggest mistakes first-time growers do is rush everything, from cutting buds down early because you see a bud for the first time, cutting that motherfucker down. Let me try one. Let me just cut this piece right here. And then you're like, no, man, don't do that. You're stunting your growth. You're stunting what you're going to get later. You know what I mean? And not doing it right at the end. Don't do it right throughout the whole grow and not do it right at the end. It's so dumb. And a lot of people do it, and I did it. I cut shit down as it was growing. It was like week 7. I'm like, thank you, not knowing that what I cut down, the buds shrivel up so much when they're not ready. At the end, you got that nice, tight, thick, dense bud. It ain't going nowhere when you dry it out. But when it's still got flowers and it's just still larvae and it's soft, you can actually feel the difference from week 7 to week 9, 10, you know? So don't cut your shit down too early. Don't be picking buds off it, and cure it and harvest your shit right. That's all I could really say about the whole get down.
Well, this sounds fun. I'm excited that we're going to be able to go on this process a little bit more.
Yeah, you know.
Get some more weekly updates, not only on your channel, but we can talk about it here, right?
Absolutely.
All right, cool.
Let me give one shout out to everybody on TikTok who came over to check the show out. I told you we're doing it, baby. Thank you for checking us out, man.
You love TikTok.
I love TikTok because I've been TikToking for years. This is Black. See, you done brought out Black Bubba now. See, no, let me. But yo, I've been TikToking for a long time, man. We just getting ready to put it on camera now, and we started putting it on camera, and I just had fun with it, man.
Yeah. So if you heard, the Black Bubba is a character that you created specifically for the TikToking.
Absolutely.
And it's got one of my favorite fucking hooks. I don't know much about it, but you're starting with these no kind of videos. So like one of them, you came in and one of your dogs made a mess on the floor. Imagine what it was.
Yeah.
What was the other one that I liked so much? You know, when Black Bubba ran out of weed. No.
Yeah.
I fucking love those ones. So those ones are pretty good. I would check him out over there. And if you are checking us out from different mediums, continue to spread out. You know, we got a Facebook. Dude, I'm so old. I almost said MySpace. We have a Facebook. We have a YouTube.
MySpace.
We have a Instagram. No, we don't. Yes, we do. We have an Instagram. I was going to say something else. We don't have a TikTok yet. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe that'll be your thing. You can create a new TikTok.
You've been down in TikTok. Not down there, but when I first brought it up to you, you were like, I don't go on TikTok. Like, you're just like, fuck TikTok, kind of like,
I don't know what to do, yeah. Because I joined, what was the other one that
bro,
was
you
big
got,
for a while?
listen,
Snapchat.
Look.
And that shit fucking died and it's stupid.
You
now.
got a TikTok channel sitting right in front of you and you don't even see it. Like, all these characters, you know how many TikToks you can make with each character each week, letting everybody know what that character's about? Each TikTok, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or a minute. Whether it's a group of them, like, you can get it going on with that, bro.
You mean with the Funkos?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a whole TikTok fucking, your whole shit by itself, man. Like, it'd be tough. To explain each one, there's people out there that would love to watch that channel every day.
Especially if I did it, in my opinion, really hard. I already have a character in mind of like who would do it. Like, so the ones behind me directly are Harry Potter, and just be like, this motherfucker's Harry Potter. motherfucker who lives.
Yeah, like
You know, just shit like that.
Yeah,
Feed
man.
Voldemort. Peace out. Just like really quick.
Yeah, really quick 15-second things, man. They would love that. I'm telling you.
I'll
That
think
shit
about
would
it.
blow up, bro. Don't sleep on TikTok. It's just having fun, man.
I might.
You know?
I think with this, we have easily slipped into the bros.
Yeah,
so
right.
The song should be going now. I think we're going to switch this up, even though I like the people let me tell you about. I do like that, but we have kind of veered a little bit from what I had in mind. You know, if you've been listening from the beginning, podcasts are always evolving. So now we talk about daily life a little bit more than personal getting to know you, and the daily life still kind of figures into that. Anyway, I think I'm just going to find a little bit something different. But now you're listening to it. First time listeners are going, Jesus Christ, Nick, just shut up and do the show. You don't have to. Anyway, this is the bros. We might join TikTok. Stay tuned for that. You can keep talking about TikTok now. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure we all knew where we were going.
No, so if you haven't checked Black Bubba out on TikTok, look him up under the Can of Pimp, THA, Can of Pimp, for like 3-4 days. And then it'll be switched to Black Bubba. So just check Black Bubba out on TikTok. And everybody on TikTok checking me out right here. Your boy, Big Body Biggz, the Can of Pimp. I appreciate you guys coming over. And we're going to continue on.
Always smash that subscribe button, hit the likes. And of course, too, if you could, it would be nice. The best way for podcasts to get out there is word of mouth. So just find somebody to be like, oh, wow, you like Buds, Bros, and Superheroes? Do I have a fucking show for you?
Right.
Anyway, what's been going on with you, sir? What's up?
So the other day, people, all right, I'm sitting there chilling at the crib. My boy Slick Nick called, or no, he didn't call me. He texted me and said, yo, I'm about to shave my goddamn head. And I texted him back, no, you're not. You won't do it. So time goes by. It's like 9 at night. He texts me a picture of a sink full of hair. So then he ends up sending me a picture, and he cut his head bald like your boy. And, I got to admit, man, you got the perfect head for it. Your head might even be better than my head for a bald head.
I don't know. I was sitting looking as you were talking about it. It's good.
Yeah, but you have a good head for a bald head. You don't look like you have cancer, because no disrespect, but a lot of white guys who shave their head bald when it hasn't been shaved yet or for a long time, it's so pale and sometimes reddish, weird looking, so it looks like you have like cancer. No disrespect to any cancer patient, but it don't look right. Or your head shape might not be right. Like if you have a egg-shaped head, it could look weird, So you have a good head for bald head.
Thanks.
You know what I mean?
It's pretty round.
Perfect.
If you ask my mother, it's the same size as when I emerged from her. But I don't believe that. She wouldn't be
And that'd be a big-headed ass baby.
Yeah, I was 8 pounds, and she swears 3 of them were in my head. I wonder if that's true, man. I mean, she's been saying it for so long. I've just been assuming it's a joke, but I've seen pictures of me.
You had a big-ass baby
I was
head.
a big baby, dude. I pity her. I still, to this day, jeez, Lou.
Like, God, I came out like that.
8 pounds.
That is a lot to come out of one little, yeah, 8 pounds.
That's a big baby. Anyway, yeah, I've always wanted to just do it. And I think it was last episode, if not the one before that, we talked about my love for a haircut. And I do love it because I can't stand when that shit starts to creep down your neck. I can't stand it when I can feel it on my ears, when like the top gets so long that maybe like even just a butterfly kiss of like a little strand over your head.
You don't like that shit?
No, I like it. I like a haircut like for my first 4 days, and then it just starts growing back too damn quick. So even if you saw, like I was down with a Bic razor, and it's already more than a 5 o'clock shadow. Like I can feel it.
You got the Marine Corps thing going on right now.
Yeah, it's not as scary.
Right.
The other thing you
and
said
you
too.
don't, yeah.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm about to say.
You say it. Because I swear to Christ, I was genuinely worried about this, and I kept thinking of American History X. Go ahead.
I was saying to him, I said, and you also don't look like a friggin' white supremacist Nazi type of dude, you know what I mean? Which is cool. Honestly, because of your beard, I would say you look more Jewish than anything, right? But you don't see Jewish dudes with bald heads, so that's out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But you have that type of beard, which is pretty cool. Because I would grow that same beard, if my shit didn't look like I had something wrong with me when it grows in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was funny, people, because I really didn't think he was going to shave it off. He'd been talking about it probably on every other podcast we had. We talked about it. We even talked about him having an experience at the barbershop where it was terrible for him, you know?
That was another thing. I literally
That
just took it
haircut
into
wasn't
my own hands.
Yeah, that haircut really wasn't the best. Like, it was like he rushed the fuck out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So no, I took it into my own hands this time. And like I was saying, as the razor was going over my head, I was like, shit, dude, if you come out looking like, you know, what's his name, Edward Norton and American History X, like, that's not going to look good for you. But I do agree that the beard gives a little bit of cadence to it. It helps a little bit. And I've gotten a few times like, Nick, you complain about the hair that grows down your neck and on your ears and your forehead. Why not the one that's on your face? And I legit do not feel it as much as I feel at other places because it's hanging off of it for the most part. The thing that I do keep nice and trimmed is the mustache. Like when it gets too low,
Yeah.
I got to get it out of there. And therefore the soul patch too. Like pretty much right in and around my mouth, I keep real clean because that's when I start getting the feels for it. But like I don't feel my jaw. I don't feel my cheeks.
My
or
whole
nothing.
face, bro. It itches so bad after like, if I don't shave after 3 days, it just starts itching so bad. So bad.
Yeah. The beginning is always
I
just
fucking hate it, and I can't get past that part. And like I said, it wouldn't grow in nice anyway. My hair texture is way different than yours and everything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Your shit grows kind of straight down. My shit would be all curly and nappy hair, you know? Like just the same as the hair on my balls. It would just be sitting there.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. I like a product called Boma Beards. Shout out. I believe that the products are made by and for not specifically, they're not going to cut out a white market, but it's for people with, I don't know why I can't just say this. I feel so weird. Just black guys with beards, black people beards. I don't know. I feel funny saying it, but I have seen what you're talking about. Like they don't shape the same as beards that I'm used to seeing. Just
right.
Commenting on it. I don't know. Ever since, do you remember Chris Rock made a movie called Good Hair?
Yes, I do.
I've been so curious about that, but not asking either. Like I don't.
Yeah,
because I also remember there was a big backlash on him from
a lot of
the
people
African
didn't
American
like. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like it.
Don't go sharing our secrets about our hair, and I was like, that's why maybe I feel so weird bringing it up. But you're not going to beat me down, right?
No. So the other day, since we're in the bros part, the other day I was at the Pantry Quick right down here, whatever. And the lady was talking. She was a Biden fan, and she was talking. It was an older lady, like probably in her 70s, maybe late 60s, and she was like, she said something like, the problem with America is like these prejudiced white people are always talking down on coloreds and this and that, and I had like, she didn't mean no disrespect, right? But she comes from the era where there was a colored water fountain and a white water fountain, a colored bathroom and a white bathroom, a place where only coloreds could eat and a place where only whites could eat, schools, blah blah blah. So I had to redirect the whole thing and let her know, like, just use the word black. So if you guys are out there and you're old school and you're listening, just try to use the word black instead of colored, because there's a lot of racial history with that. So if you could, just keep it cool.
Oh, yeah, I would never say colored, but I also sometimes not sure black works. Because some people go, no, it should be African American.
But at least it's not colored.
Okay.
There's levels to that, I guess.
Agree. I would.
Like, everybody's level is different. Like, what might not work for you works for somebody else. You know what I mean? You got those guys that are like Black Panther militant type black guys or women that are like, oh, I'm an African American, and that's all they want to go by. But I don't go by that. Like, if I'm black, you know what I mean? It's just, that's what it is. It's not. There's no disrespect with that. You know what I mean? I don't feel any anyway as a black person. And I wouldn't as an African American. I am African American, you know what I mean? So that doesn't matter either way. The colored part, to me, has a racial tone with it. There's some history with it, you know, with the whole segregation thing. So that's different to me.
I also found it interesting, too, as you were bringing up, like it was a colored only or a white only. But more so what I thought of was no colored allowed. where I find, it's the same message, but
Right.
in my opinion, just say it's not just only, it's like, no, not allowed.
Right.
Where it's like,
Right.
that's, I agree with you.
Right. Like
Obviously,
you,
100%. But
you hear stories from old people on YouTube and stuff like that where they're talking about how they went into certain restaurants and they wouldn't serve them. Shit, I gave you a story about me and my girl going into a restaurant and them serving people that came in. 2 different couples came in after us, and they're serving them drinks and their food before we get a drink or even waited on. So
that was this century, too.
It's still going on, man. Like it was, like all that was yesterday. You know what I mean? And even worse, it seems like, because now there's videotape. There wasn't no videotape back then. There wasn't a video on everybody's house, on their phones. There was no phones. So people were getting away with a lot more shit back then.
Oh, yeah. Reminds me of Remember the Titans.
From criminals to cops, like on both sides. You know what I mean? I'm not just saying, I always root for the bad guys, but I'm not saying it's just one-sided. It's on both sides. Both sides did really fucked up shit and got away with a lot of shit, from planting drugs in cars to robbing a house. Nowadays people got cameras and sensors and rings and all that shit, and it's harder,
Not to downplay what you're saying, but I got down on a YouTube rabbit hole of ridiculousness, which was kind of MTV's response to Taj.0, but they got their boy Rob Dyrdek to do it. Anyway, Tommy Lee was one of the guests on this particular show. He was the drummer for Motley Crue. Sorry, took a second. And they had a similar thing where they were talking about, dude, you wouldn't believe the things I used to do on tour when there was no cameras around. Like, we got away with murder. Like, we didn't kill anybody, but we got away with so much shit that I wouldn't even dream of doing, because everybody carries around a fucking phone now, and every phone has a camera, and everybody's got a ring. So even if you say no phones and you're standing out in the street, like if you're standing on my street, my ring is recording it.
Look, I swear to God, about an hour before I came over here, me and my buddy Harley, who I probably talked about on the podcast before, came over, or we were talking, and we were talking about shit we did in the past versus will we do it now. And one time he had a problem with these kids, so we rounded up some friends and we went in their house. And
You rearranged all the furniture?
all of it, and put food in his fridge, all that stuff. It was a really nice
Changed the
guy.
toilet paper.
Yeah.
Checked the fire alarms.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're just respectable. Very, very nice guy for doing all that.
Yeah, so and we just talked about like how some people back then could have gotten a lot of trouble if they were to do some bad things, Would we do those things now? Absolutely not, Like, I wouldn't even, it's funny how now if you kill somebody as a teenager or an 18-year-old, you got to do your time. But like, there's some charges that an 18-year-old gets, let's just say, or a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old, they get some charges and like they get put away for a long time. And if you think about it, man, 95% of us, 100% of us who aren't dumb and think right as adults, when you're like 30, 40 years old, you think way different than when you were 16. So I think with some charges, they should be a little bit more lenient, because you have to take into the fact that the kid's still a kid, and he probably would never think like that as an adult,
Yeah, no, there was a story once, and I felt bad locally, about a kid who was put on the sex offender list and had to go around his neighborhood saying, I'm a sex offender, because he took a piss close to a playground.
Wow.
He was drunk.
Wow.
And took a piss close to a playground, and because of what was going on, what happened at the time, or what the laws were, and like that shit stuck with him for a while.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
But yeah, so, while I'm thinking about it real quick, while I'm just thinking about it, anybody out there dealing with abuse or anything like that, I know it might be embarrassing to you and you keep it on the low because you don't want your family to find out or friends or whatever. But if you got to reach out to an agency or whatever, just try to do that for yourself, for your kids if you have kids. And it's just like when you're taking a bunch of drugs, you got to switch up everybody you're around. If you're drinking, you got to switch up. You got to cut all those people off, and you might have to cut the one you love off because he's doing you wrong physically and all that. So if you get a chance, man, just break away from that. The same way you got to break away from the riffraff when you're doing drugs or drinking with a drinking buddy or your little pill buddy or whoever it is, you know. Now, if it's weed we're talking about, keep on smoking. Just wanted to get that out there. Not to be a Debbie Downer to everybody, but yeah. So
no, it's a great message, and it's our message.
Yeah, it's just a message.
Whatever
you know what I
say.
mean? I watched my mom get hit by my father and stuff like that back in the day a lot. So I just always said I could never be like that, you know. So here we are. Or if you know somebody's going through it, man, try and help them out. But if they don't want the help, you can't do nothing about it.
Now, I don't want to take your seriousness and, you know, kind of, what's the word, shamelessly use it. But we'll just say, yeah, if you got something going on or if you know something's going on, you could step up and be a hero to that person and help them out, get help for yourself, do what you got to do. And speaking of heroes, we could talk about some superheroes.
Absolutely.
Was it too shameless? Too much of a plug? Too far of a reach for a segue?
No.
It was okay?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, cool. Thanks.
We are good.
With that, we watched, it's our first ever Bud Pros and Superheroes sequel. We've been watching a lot of movies to help Big Body here. Not help him. I always feel so bad saying that because it makes it sound
You are helping.
Makes you sound like you're inept, and it's like, no, he just doesn't like superheroes, you know? Like, we're watching movies to help you learn about superheroes.
It's not that I don't like them, because I never watch most of these movies.
Again, guys, sorry if we're going back to it, but these dogs just won't stop, and, you know, we have two different schedules, so I'm trying to get ready for work. My wife is about to get off of work, so the dogs can't be anywhere than other than where they are, and that's right here in this room, so if it's been that big of a bother, I won't know until I edit it. So this is podcaster Nick, and editor Nick will know. But if you're listening to it and you stayed with us, thanks very much. I'll try not to have that happen again. But, you know, King, we talked about him, that big dog with that big head. He's just trying to fucking play right now. So go on. I'm sorry. Talk about some superheroes.
No. So this week we are talking about Hellboy 2, the sequel.
The Golden Army.
Yeah. And what did you think about it?
I loved the first one. If you recall, I called it a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that when it came out. Went ahead and got a huge Hellboy tattoo, which I still have, which is a joke because of course I would. I don't love the second one as much in the same tone because I do think that it takes a different tone, and it's not a bad shift. It is just a shift. And I know that's weird to say because it's like it's the same director, it's the same people, but I think that they hit something cool in the first one that they wanted to explore, and I'm happy they did. But, you know, there is no, for lack of a better word, because I don't remember what they called it, there is no Diagon Alley in the first one. Whereas in this one, they're like, the troll market. Yeah, let's go to the troll market. And now there's tens of thousands of different shits to look at. Whereas before, you know, it was only a few. And it was only. So I do like that they talked about it more. And in the previous episode, I believe I hyped it. But as I rewatched it and looked at it, I was just like, okay, this is where we are. This is fine. It's just not so much like the first one, if you ask me. And again, it's not me saying it's bad. It's just different. Therefore, on a scale level of how I like it, does fall lower than the first.
It's way different. Because when I started watching it, I'm like, where's this taking me? I mean, even the alien type monsters and beasts in it, they were just so different compared to like the first one. You didn't think it was going to go where it went in the second one versus the first one. You know, but that girl's lip kind of looked like it cleared up a little bit. I didn't see that bump.
She burned it off. Yeah.
I didn't see it, baby.
Going back to the tonal thing really quick, though, the movie opens up with like a young adolescent Hellboy with like one horn all the way.
I was like, what the fuck?
So to start like that, it is weird. I mean, we got a little baby Hellboy in Hellboy, but we didn't get to see this. So like
he was
that
like
type
14
of tone thing.
years old or something. One of his horns was fucked up, and he just looked rough.
His teeth were bucked out.
Yeah, he looked rough.
And I love it because it humanizes this person even more. And I get why it's there, and I do love it, but it is a noticeable tone shift to the first one. And then from that weird shift, we are also introduced to the backstory of where we're going to go with this whole movie via flashback/story narrative, with weird marionette looking kind of people, and
Yeah.
like there's trolls and there's magic shit and there's people, and they fought, and then we created the Golden Army, and then the guy was like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that. They killed a lot of humans. So they put that shit away, and we were like, we'll stick in the forest, and man goes to the city, and fuck it, that's where we are, guys. And all this happens in like 10 seconds. You're like, okay, all right, wow, we're going very quickly.
Okay, so what was the name of the people that look like the friggin' people from Game of Thrones? The people on Game of Thrones that were like chasing everybody. What was the name of it? They looked like they had ice on them.
The White Walkers.
Who? Okay, the White Walkers. The people in this movie, the brother and the sister, they look just like White Walkers. And I was
I'm
like,
gonna disagree. Sorry.
huh?
I don't think so, but that's your
Yeah, they reminded me of them a little
Reminded
bit.
me, yeah.
You know, not as like they weren't the same, but they
were pale as fuck.
Yeah, I don't know, it just reminded me like the girl reminded me like a cross of them and like the girl with the blonde hair in the Game of Thrones. What's her name again?
The Mother of Dragons.
Yeah, the Mother
Khaleesi.
of Dragons. Khaleesi, yeah.
Emilia Clarke.
Yeah, she just reminded me of them, but they were, you know, it was cool. You know,
he was a badass who used swords a lot, so you got that back.
Yeah, he had a nice fight scene, you know. It wasn't bad. It was just a lot of weird characters, a lot of weird little monsters.
So to bring everybody up to speed, in the very beginning, like I said, people took the cities, magic shit took the forests, and now this guy that we're talking about, the White Walker looking motherfucker, is the prince, and he goes to his dad, and he's like, this shit's over, we gotta stop this, let's get the Golden Army and take back what's ours. And that's what the whole movie's about. They're trying to get the Golden Army, and Hellboy, being the person who's supposed to save the world from shit like this, is like, nope. Then he's in love with Liz.
Yeah.
They got a lot of problems to deal with there.
He
The
almost-
White Walker's sister motherfucker falls in love with Abe Sapien as we're going, because she's a rational person who's like, my brother's insane, we can't let him do this. So there's a really funny drunk scene with them. I'm not going to spoil too much if you haven't seen it, but go and watch it. But every time I think of this movie, or I hear the song I'm about to sing, they will forever be tied of, you know I can't smile without you. So I love that scene. They're drunk, drinking beer and shit. And then it gets serious. I'm not going to go too far, but I was talking about a lot Doug Jones, who played Abe Sapien.
Yeah.
So if you remember the guy who took the metal out of Hellboy that was killing him, and he had all the eyes on his wings,
Yeah.
that was also Doug Jones in a different makeup.
Oh man. Yeah, we talked about showing me like the different characters he's played.
Yeah, we did tease that could be
Yeah.
a whole episode, and maybe we will get there one day.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Because I did see that Star Trek Discovery is amping up again, and he is one of the main aliens on that.
Nice.
I did think about him too while I was shaving my head, because I was like, I revealed, if you will, last episode that he revealed on his Instagram that he shaves his head for the camera people so they don't have to bald cap him every time. And I was like, hey, I feel like Doug Jones, shaved my head, yeah. But I still just look like me, which is
It's
a
a
monster
good look,
in and of
man.
itself.
It's
Yeah,
a good
I
look,
like it.
man.
I'm going to rock it for a little bit. I'm also thinking about being quote-unquote artsy, where you take a picture of yourself every day, and I would want to put 365 pictures back-to-back to see how big my hair changes in a year, because it does grow pretty fast.
So you would let your hair grow a straight year?
From January 1st to January 1st. It's the idea I was thinking
Well,
about.
then let's see. I want to see you do it.
I might.
I couldn't do it.
But there is going to be a point where, shaving it's not going to be the problem. It's where I'm assuming next November, December, it's going to be long.
I want to see it.
So that's what I wouldn't. Because, I've been growing hair professionally for at least 28 years.
If I grew my hair out, I would look like a heavy-set George Jefferson. My shit would just look from the Jeffersons. My shit would just not grow. It'd look like a U around my head. You know what I mean? And those days are over. Over. You know, like
that's actually it's funny because that's the same hair that Hellboy rocks.
Yeah,
if you noticed, but he grew out a little top knot. I was thinking about that, and now that just made me think I like that part. Because again, I feel like by saying I don't like it as much as the first one, people will say he doesn't like it. Again, they're just very different, and I would have liked more of the first one rather than this little bit of tweaked one. You know, it's like, in my opinion, it's like Dunkin' fucking Donuts. You know, I don't mean to bash Dunkin' Donuts because I love Dunkin' Donuts. I drink Dunkin' Donuts almost every day.
Me and you.
But depending on who's working and what Dunkin' you go to, I can get my same large iced coffee with caramel, espresso, and milk. That's all I say every time. I'm not one of the person who's like, can I only have one pump, or can you only do that? No. Caramel, espresso, and milk, large ice. And it's different every time.
Every time.
So I don't know if it's the pump levels, I don't know what it is. But that's how it reminds me of this Hellboy movie where you sip and you're like, yeah. I mean, it's close to what I thought it was going to be, but it's not exactly how the one that I had in my head, the first one. Because every now and then you go to Dunkin' and you get a special cup where you're like, this is what I thought that it should taste like every time. Because again, I'm not somebody who's like 2.5 pumps. Like, what the fuck is a half pump then?
Yeah.
Does pump go all the way, or is there a line on the thing that they should be following? Like, how does that work? Why can't we get some stability going nationwide? Because I only visit about 3 different Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
And sometimes I do have a favorite one. And then sometimes when I look in, I see somebody and I'm like, it's going to be good.
Yep. Yeah, I know that Monday through Friday, the morning shift at the one in South, is cool. Their morning shift, they're fast and they're consistent. My shit is always on point. You go there at night or on the weekends, it's hit or miss, man. Every single time. And you ask for the same exact thing every single time,
Like a Big Mac, it should taste like a Big Mac no matter where I go.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Even if it don't got lettuce.
That's fucked up. That's something I think, we can tease a little bit in the next episode. So because I shaved my head, that took up a big section of the bros. But I did want to talk about food picadillos because you had brought up more than one that you like no crunchy water. And that your milk literally has to be flaky ice cold. So I thought that was fun, and I started thinking of my own. So come back definitely for next episode in the bud section, or in the bro section, excuse me. We'll talk about that. Let's wrap up Hellboy, though. Before we do that, we are getting at the end, and we've already picked our next movie. So overall, how is this movie done for you?
I think it was pretty good. Like I said, it was different. It wasn't bad. It's just different compared to what I watched in the first episode. So I feel like I would rate it out of a 1 to 10. I'd give it a 6.5, just because it was different and I wasn't expecting it. And I just thought it was a little much with all the extra characters and Sonic the Hedgehog looking beast looking thing gone bad. That thing was creepy looking too. The one with the thing sticking out of the back.
That could come off of it.
The fist that came off. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a scary looking one. I think the idea of the tooth fairies is really terrifying because I have a fear of dentistry as it is and people touching my teeth.
Yeah.
So the fact that a monster would attack and eat me starting with my teeth is pretty fucked up. I think that they had a good idea of taking the weird of the first one and bumping it up. But again, like cooking or like the Dunkin', it was just one pump too many. It was just a little too much. Not in general terms, just in terms of making it seem like it was a sequel to that movie.
Right.
I like that. I did like the Troll Market, again, because it's like stepping into Harry Potter world or stopping at Mos Eisley Cantina where all of a sudden you're like, this is real. This is a real organic place and shit was flying around in markets and different things. And the one Quato looking character, do you remember Arnold Schwarzenegger had a movie, Total Recall?
Mm-hmm.
The Quato looking Quaid.
It was like a big...
In this movie, there's another kind of one who he's like, I'm not a tumor, or I'm not a baby, I'm a tumor. I always wondered if that was Guillermo del Toro going
that
like,
little fucking thing creeped me out too a little bit. I was like,
Yeah, the whole thing just took a little bit too much. One extra 2 pump of...
Yeah.
But that, that's just my opinion. And it only works in terms of a sequel. If this was how they started, who knows what that could have been like. But I do think tonally there is a lot of similarities to the first one, but in those similarities, there's also a lot of change. But did you like that Hellboy got to like really square off and do some clinking with swords and shit at the end to actually finish? Because that was one of your bigger complaints, that like he ended up just fighting a random nobody space alien. Whereas at least this one had the same bad guy throughout. Like
and it was cool. I like the section where he was like jumping on the things and getting inside, like bong, inside the heads, like and then this But my favorite part in the whole movie Maybe it's because I grow weed. I don't know. But the big plant that was fucking all over the place, I like that scene. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's also beautifully tragic. You know, because it really shows Hellboy, like, are you fighting monsters? What the fuck did that thing do to you? What was it going to do? This was the last of its kind, and you just shot it in the head with a big baby while juggling a baby, which was really unrealistic now that I think about it.
Right.
But I do like that the name of the gun was the big baby. Like, that's cool, because the Samaritan is his normal hip holster, but this one was even fucking bigger. But again, yeah, beautifully tragic of that Prince, the White Walker looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
Just like, what are you doing? Why are you fighting for these people? You look like us. They're going to hate you, and you just killed one of the most ancient, beautiful things that could have ever come.
Right.
You know, maybe at one point it could have healed this planet in which they're tearing apart. Like, it was... I really liked the movie. I thought it was really good.
So what would you rate it?
Oh, I'd put it up there. I'd put it as a solid 8. So when you say 6.5, I hear D-. I'd put it at a B+.
Okay.
And again, I'm in love with the cast. I'm in love with their portrayals, and I'm in love with Guillermo del Toro.
Okay. That's cool.
But yeah, I would put the first one a little bit above that, you know, like an A- or
because
a B++.
We have so many movies to watch, right? So I have to go hard in the paint, especially being from the other side where I don't know anything about them and blah, blah, blah. So
well, that helps a lot, too, for the average listener, because there's this story that Kevin Smith tells with all of his friends about Jason Mewes, who is the Jay to his Silent Bob. Like, never read a bad comic book. You know, you can ask him, Jay, what'd you like about this comic book? And he'll go, it was in color. You know, can't find bad stuff to say. And in that breath, sometimes I can't find bad stuff to say about even stuff that's right in front of my face, because it's like, I like Hellboy.
Right.
You know, and if it is something I complain about, it's usually because continuity or something was messed up. You know, I went hard in the paint on Green Lantern because it's known to be a rushed kind of mess, and you can see it where some parts are so strong and we're so close to being awesome that if like we went in that direction more rather than let's take these pants off and fly, like it could have been better. And I'm hoping next time we see an Earth Green Lantern on screen, it'll be cool. Which should be. I think we're getting an HBO Max series still. I don't know what's going on with filming in any of that anymore because the Rona and stuff, you know, people are getting shut up and shut down. Chicago Fire is coming back though. Yay. Like, anyway, what are we watching next? We already decided. Thank you for listening to our Hellboy. That was the end of that section. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want us to talk more about different elements of the movie, different stuff like that, like, again, we're always evolving. We're always taking input, and we want to know what else you want to hear about. But with that, we have picked a different movie. We're going to take this bird in for a landing.
Deadpool.
The Merc with a Mouth, guys. So I still haven't blown you away with anything. There hasn't been something that you'd want to watch again that I've shown you. Technically speaking, the Christopher Reeve, the first one we ever started with, Superman, is something you've seen twice, but that's only because you saw it when you were...
Yeah, I've seen
when it came out.
I've seen it a bunch of times, yeah. You know,
but
so I'm not going to be biased to that, you know. Even then, I think I rated it 8.5,
something
maybe.
like that.
Yeah, that's because that's my guy.
Yeah, but there hasn't been anything that has blown your hair back. Even though we talked about both of us being bald men, like you get the euphemism.
No, not yet. I didn't mind Green Lantern. You hated it, but I didn't mind it.
If you had to watch any of the movies that we've watched so far again, which one would you watch again? Like, I have amnesia. We have to start all over, and you have to reteach me from what I've taught you so far. What would you have me watch again for the first time?
Probably Green Lantern.
That's amazing. Yeah, you guys, you heard it here first. We've seen The Dark Knight Rises, and we've seen Green Lantern, and that's your choice. Okay, interesting. So hopefully now I'm thinking... Deadpool, as our listeners may know, in comics is already kind of a weird thing because I think I brought it up before. He's going to break the fourth wall, which is cool. And he did so from panel to panel as well, where you draw the person staring at the camera going, hey, you reader, this is what I'm talking like. So he's going to do that in the movie. It's going to be very violent, and he's going to curse a lot too.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that it's you know, we watched it, my wife and I, last night. The pacing's good. I think that this might be the one where you're like, all right, that was pretty tight.
Okay.
I'm hoping.
I won't let you
because it is, again,
influence my decision.
Different.
I'll be able to I'll keep it real. You know, like every other episode, I'm gonna keep it real and say, hey, this sucked. Or yo, that was the bomb, bro. Look, I got it rated at 8.5, 9.
That's what I'm hoping for. So, faithful listener, please come back next week for another episode of Buds, Bros, and Superheroes. If you haven't already, please hit like, subscribe, share, all of those fun internet things. Or, like I said earlier, please just tell a friend, tell anybody. That'd be nice. Leave us a review. You know what to do.
You know what to do.
In the meantime, I have been Nick James.
And this is Big Body Biggz, the can of pimp. Whatever you do today, tonight, don't get that ass bodied.
We have been Buds, Bros, and Superheroes, and we are out of here.
Rah.